All right, y'all. It's about to start in like 5 minutes, so I went ahead and pulled the stream up.
5 minutes. Hey, come over here,
It's 9:25. It's gonna start at 9:30. So I just want you to see, like, I shut down, and the crowd has increased significantly. I think that there's definitely going to be a nice conversation tonight. You guys know how I feel about communication. I think it's key, so I definitely wanted to come live stream this event. I think that not only should people get together and talk, but this should be shared, and we can actually have our own open dialogue via the chat stream during this session. So what it says is, don't apologize, get involved. I'm live right now, Shirley. So we can see that there are people spread all over, but they are in a circle, and they are ready to have a conversation. This is beautiful. Sasha is also streaming. You can find her link on her Twitter. She's Sasha streaming on Ustream, right?
On live stream.
On live stream. I'm sorry, Sasha streaming on live stream.
I don't know how to make you a mod. How do I do that?
I don't know, but he's a good one to make as a mod. But you got to do it from the computer. I typically can't do it from the phone. The app, yeah. The mods can. That's why people like my chat stream, because I have a lot of mods.
Yeah. Whatever, I can mod my own shit. If I can mod 5,000 people, I can mod over here. I was going to give you $5 to show your tits with their fake tits earlier. I was like, well, give me the $5 and I'll show you my fake tits. They're gonna shit.
So we're just waiting. We're just waiting for it to start. A couple minutes. I'm just getting people.
Right down the street.
I'm not sure I'll be able to see everybody who wants to speak because you're all standing. So if anybody, if it's possible, you can sit down and fill it out.
You're obviously bored.
To really have an open dialogue, that would be great. Especially people all the way in the back. Like, it's very necessary to have an effective dialogue.
So she's asking people to get in a better position so we can actually have a conversation, saying it's going to be very difficult for you to see people who are speaking if you're standing in a crowd off to the side. Hey guys, hi Master. Thank you for turning in. Master of the MP3s. Hey. I'm all right. How about you?
Are you sure?
Good to see you. Yeah, let me get a hug. Everybody, I was detained with these two here. They free. You know. This is a joyous moment because that was some complete bullshit. Thank you for the video. I didn't have time because I was trying to do hella shit, but I'm gonna put that together.
Got another one too before that too.
Hey.
Too loud?
You can send them. Like when you send them, you know how you attach the video and then you write a message? Like send them to me. Tell me what tell me what your perspective of the situation is. Send it to me. I'm gonna look at the video.
I'll send it to you.
Okay. Alright. You can send them to me here. Oh shit, my email isn't on my card like a dum-dum. Thank you, mods. I would like to say thank you to all of my mods. You do an excellent job of keeping this a safe space to have a conversation. I know that people are probably reading it, but they're not able to insert a lot of racist comments, and I definitely appreciate that because we can agree to disagree, but we have to not disrespect each other. We need to be able to have an open dialogue so that we can understand each other and not, be subjected to our own independent judgments based on stereotypes. There are just more people funneling in. Thank you.
Mic check, mic check. Hello, St. Louis University community and the broader St. Louis community for the people who are not students or faculty or any part of the formal St. Louis University community. So, my name is Talal, and I'm one of the organizers with TribeX. TribeX is the organization who partnered with SLU students to organize this action. This is a classic example of nonviolent civil disobedience, and this is a sit-in that we organized and executed. What was that? Sunday morning at 2 a.m. we arrived here. We had 3,000 people out here in your courtyard, and the objective of the sit-in was to bring awareness to this very privileged community and you privileged individuals that, hey, there are people who are like dealing with some real tough issues and are dealing with some really nasty forms of oppression, and we do have kids who are being murdered by law enforcement, and this issue that we're dealing with did not just start on August the 9th with the murder of Michael Brown by Darren Wilson. It was just a straw that broke the camel's back. People got really frustrated. Since August the 9th, I don't have approximately 4 or 5 or 6 unarmed black young males have been killed, murdered by law enforcement here in the metro area. So that is the Mike Brown incident, the Ferguson incident. It's not just a marginalized, isolated incident like a lot of people think and would want to believe. And so TribeX is a brand new organization that was started by myself and some other people who met on the ground in early August in Ferguson. We built bonds after, going through some very real stuff, and like such as being tear gassed together, being beat by cops together, saving one another from being beat by cops, being arrested together, saving each other from being arrested. We've been through a lot, and so we built some very strong bonds. We never intended to start a formal organization. We decided that we needed to organize because we have, I'm not going to call any names, but we have a lot of powerhouse non-for-profit organizations here in the metro area who do a very good job at co-opting movements and exploiting organic grassroots movements of the people. And so we organized so that we could counter that in addition to pushing back against the system.
Yes.
So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to the SLU students. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Kim here, and thank you so much. And also think about, because this is going to turn into an open discussion, how do you feel about the action? How do you feel about us occupying your space? Is it okay with you guys? If it isn't okay with you guys, share that. Here you go, Kim.
Hi, so my name is Kimberly Turner. I'm a junior here on SLU campus. So right now we are going to facilitate and start kind of an open dialogue. We know that a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions, confusions, questions, answers, and thoughts on all the situations. And we want our SLU community to all be involved and united in the information that we have. So we have several different people, both that are from our SLU community and from TribeX, that are going to talk and kind of facilitate the questions. So please feel free to ask questions and speak out. So first we have Alicia over here, who is also a SLU student and a TribeX member. We have Christopher Walter, who is a SLU student, BSA president. We have Daruba over here, who is a TribeX. We have Jonathan Povis, who is a VSA and TribeX participant and SLU student, sorry. And we have Brittany Kendrick, who is a SLU student as well. And we have EJ, who is a TribeX. And we have Steve from Lost Force, who is also here as well. So, please direct your questions, raise your hands. We will try to do our best to get to everybody. Make sure you raise them high. We'll make sure we do our best to get to everybody. First, we're going to address a few quick things and then go into questions. So, hold them and we're going to get to everybody. So, here's Alicia. All right.
Amplified. Yeah. They said the people in the back can't hear. Exactly. So talk a little louder.
And if there's like a volume.
I have somebody just repeat what she said.
Alright, this is my first time using this thing.
Yep.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Louder?
Good purpose. That's all the way.
Just talk. Can you hear this? Just talk.
Alright, what about that? Alright, so, thank you, first and foremost, being engaged. SLU students, I know it is midterms, but understand that trying times always occur at inconvenient times. If you can remember, we did have a series of mass bias incidents that occurred last semester, and it somewhat leaded into our community. So now it is time for us to be engaged and be accountable for these actions. I ask that this is a safe place, that you respect one another, think before you speak, and most importantly, be critical, ask questions, and then you must listen. Okay, so we're gonna start off. Hello? Is this good? Okay. So we're gonna start off by just everybody giving themselves a round of applause for showing up to participate today. That's very important. That's the first step. And then we just want to give an acknowledgement to freedom fighters, Bree, Wes, D-Ray, just some people who have helped us all along, Netta and Netta.
All right, so we're gonna open it up to the Q&A session. Can I get raised hands? If your hand is raised, keep it raised high so I can see it.
You guys say innocent till proven guilty, but typically you have to go to jail and pay bail and then face an arraignment before you're even just, released if or whatever, or let you know your charges. Darren Wilson hasn't even been charged. So as to where
Why
he...
is the American flag being flown upside down in the middle of our center of campus?
Why is the flag being flown upside down in the center of campus?
All right, so that's a very important question. The American flag, for a lot of people in general, actually represents patriotism, nationalism, and unity. In times wherein there is segmentation, fragmentation, and disruption, that is supposed to be what unites everyone under one cause, right? Support for the United States. Unfortunately, in a democracy where the majority of the dominant group do not have to experience the level and intensity of the fragmentation that occurs to those who aren't white, speak plainly. The American flag, in times in which we are racially profiled, in which our voices, when spoken, articulated, when information is given, aren't heard, And then the consequences of that are just a perpetuation of a system of oppression that is very dangerous to us, but also dangerous to any attempt at the actual goal, which is unity in this land. It is important that people recognize the American flag can mean different things for different people in that way. So while we do come together, and while we do want to have this idea of unity, of cooperation, collaboration, if the cost of that means our silence, if the cost of that means the continual unchecked loss of life, of black life, black people don't need to be a part of that. And so the way in which we represent that is in the same way in which the system misrepresents us, backwards. So we flipped it upside down. All right. That's your question.
The flag flipped upside down is also a signal for citizens in distress. You should say that. You should tell them that.
One more thing to add to that. It's actually an American tradition when your life or your property is endangered that you would flip it upside down. It means that you're distressed.
Citizens in distress.
For various different reasons, I could go on all day to explain why Black Americans are distressed, and that's also another factor in why we flip it upside down. And another thing I wanted to clear with the flag, some people have been upset that it's actually touching the ground right now, but I want to make it straight that is not to be a sign of disrespect. It is actually on, the flag is connected to like a stick on a rake, you know what I'm saying, and it's not that tall. So we had to stick it in the dirt because today was Columbus Day, and I know this used to be your school 12 hours ago, you know what I'm saying? But we, in the spirit of Columbus Day, we came to claim our land back, you know what I'm saying? So that's why.
Yep. Another question?
One quick comment to that. I lost my grandpa to the military, and I understand the sentiment that it is a bit disrespectful to have the flag related and upside down. But do not ever, ever relate a material item to a life. Never. My grandfather was way more valuable in his life than that flag. And so if any of you have lost family members to war, to being courageous for this country, do not identify them with a material item.
I just want to know what strategies are in place once it does get violent, because I feel like in upcoming days, like maybe if they don't get the news they want to hear, like some people in St. Louis, they're not like trying to be peaceful. They feel like if they're like violent, somebody will really listen. So, I mean, if it comes to school campus, since we are kind of close to the scene of the crime, what do you guys plan on doing?
She's saying, what's the strategy if he doesn't get indicted? Everybody doesn't want to be peaceful.
If things escalate, because the outside SLU community may not choose to handle things as peacefully as we have here, how are we going to handle it as a SLU community, and what actions are we going to take? Are there plans? What's going to happen?
Did everybody catch that question? Everybody get that? All right. My perspective on that. Personally, I feel like we won't get an indictment. You can't hear me over there? Personally, I feel like we won't get an indictment, and for many reasons, one of those being history, with this weekend, I don't know if you guys were aware, this weekend was supposed to be a weekend of resistance. It was a national call for many different organizations and individuals all over the nation to come and to amplify the protests that have been going on in Ferguson and South City for now 66 days. And the weekend, to me, it hasn't been as successful as it could have been. And one of our strategies is to hopefully, like if you've been following our past two actions for the past 2 days, we did the action at Quick Trip, and there was, since I mentioned that, I'll talk about that. There was a misconception. People were feeling like we were going to the quick trip to raid it or to rob it. Can you guys hear me? So I'm sorry. If you guys are aware of what happened in Ferguson, it started off pretty much with the quick trip burning down, and that caused national attention. So we went to another quick trip to represent kind of the same situation that happened in Ferguson, but to show that we have advanced as a youth, as young organizers, that we don't need to destroy things to get our point across, which is why we actually went to the quick trip, sat in front of it on the ground with our back turned to kind of expose the police for what they really are and the how they protect these systems. And it was effective, which is why there were a lot of people here at your school the following day for the action. And we do that in hopes that people will be activated and radicalized, so that when we do receive that there's no indictment, the black community feels like they have support from other races, other demographics. And one way that we were going to have that support system was by having people involved in these actions and being radicalized and actually making our issues right in your face, something that's a part of your reality, because privilege is a real thing, and sometimes people can't see it, but if you're white, whether you want to or not, you benefit from privilege. And it's kind of a hard conversation to have, but a lot of times when you can see the oppression with your eyes, it'll change your perspective, you know what I'm saying? So that's one strategy that we have, that hopefully our actions can radicalize a lot of people and mobilize, so that when we get no indictment, the black community feels that the city of St. Louis has learned from all these things that have been happening for the past 2 months, and that we can progress from that.
Wait, hold up. Let me speak to the fear that something bad is going to happen and what's going to transpire on this campus. You all are responsible, accountable individuals. We are all Billikens here. And I am accountable for you just as much as you are accountable for me. And I take that wholeheartedly, because the Jesuit mission is men and women with and for others. So nothing's going to happen to you. It is a choice if you are going to be a part of this revolution in demanding and challenging the system, or if you're not.
What the fuck?
My neighbor got a camera. He got a little.
This is just a general comment
It's
as
a
well.
little
This conversation is meant to be communal,
camera
and so you
thing.
guys can answer questions as well. This is not just us giving you answers and spewing out our answers. This is supposed to be an involved conversation. So please, if you have an answer to these questions that we're asking, please raise your hand and share your thoughts. Share your thoughts.
His hand been raised for him.
Yeah, I know, but he's after her.
Okay.
I see you over there, man. I got you. No, she had over there, and then he's after. Yeah.
I'm wondering if you could inform us on the tangible, concrete goals of the protest, and what specifically SLU students can do, what specific actions they can do to support to make sure that those goals happen.
So they're asking about tangible, concrete goals and what SLU students can do to support and help make sure the goals happen.
Okay, so before we give a response, I want to know ideas that you guys think, because this is dialogue. So some of the things, the question was, what concrete, tangible things are the protesters trying to achieve, and what can SLU students do to help? So I want to know from the audience, what things do you guys think as SLU students that you can do to help, and if you've been involved? And if you've been involved in protesting, which may be us or someone in the audience, what are the tangible, concrete things? So we'll do the tangible, concrete things, and then you guys respond and say how you think as SLU students you can help.
I'm gonna respond.
Testing. All right, hello? All right, so the question was, what can you as SLU students do to help? Am I correct? Yes. Thank you.
Alright, so the goals of this actual occupation is to present an experiment to St. Louis University. The way in which we have handled direct action within the St. Louis region has been very neglectful, has been very unfortunate, and has been very ironic given our Jesuit mission and the university mission. The university mission being the pursuit of truth for the greater glory of God and in the service of humanity. The Jesuit mission being men and women for others. The university spin-off, higher purpose, greater good. These are ideas that we commit ourselves to. And when each of you all graduate, I'm imagining a lot of 2018 students are out here. But when you graduate in 4 years, if you're not in class of 2018, it still applies. When you graduate, they're going to look at your resume, they're going to look at you and think that you represent your alma mater as an alumni. And one thing that you're going to take away is, and could be more than likely, that mission statement. And you're going to wonder, what did the university do in times of crisis to actually fulfill that mission statement? The goal is to hold the university accountable to the issues within the community surrounding it. What does that look like? Let me explain what that looks like first, because y'all clapping right now, but look. Currently, we do not have a critical mass of students from any of the St. Louis public high schools that attend this school. That is inexcusable. There's a school right down the street known as Cardinal Ritter College Prep. It is a Catholic, all-black high school. We receive minimal amount of their scholars. And these are college-prepared students, right? Students that attend a private school similar to some of you may have. I mean, similar to the way in which some of you may have. So the way in which we treat these students who are residents of St. Louis as a way in which we also treat some of our own students on campus. The relationship of SLU to the black community. And when I say black community, St. Louis City is half black. The relationship that the university has to the black community has always been one of expediency and immediacy. Jonathan, what do you mean through that? What do you mean by that? Well, look at the history of the institution. Mill Creek Valley was a space that provided housing for a lot of St. Louis black residents, and it was torn apart to build what we now enjoy, being Ritter Hall and Bush Student Center. That history is not really well known and well circulated, but that's another example of how in which ways we oppress the St. Louis community. In addition to that, as a not-for-profit institution, St. Louis University does not pay taxes, right? We don't pay taxes, so we can't exactly help the development of the surrounding community by that way. And so what do we do to make up for that? Well, we issue out a lot of gifts. The other day at Shapitz Arena, we hosted Dr. Cornell West for free, which was excellent. We allowed people from the community to go and see this black intellectual speak on issues that a lot of people are uncomfortable about, unprivy to, and just want to get to know more about, which is important. But when we do so, we present it as a gift instead of what it really is, which is something for something. The university wins by having a well-attended audience at this at Shapitz Arena. It wins. And at the same time in which we want students to participate in that way by going to Shapitz Arena, to have a action plan, which is actual participation in that environment, we collaborate with the St. Louis Metro Police Department to cut off I-44 in Grand, which is the only direction if you want to have direct involvement in the protest in the Shaw neighborhood. And so when we talk about goals, we're talking about holding SLU accountable to the St. Louis region, allowing for SLU students who want to have the opportunity to participate in advocacy and activism in the community, and finding creative means and ways of doing that. But yeah.
Really quick, one other thing that I want to mention. A lot of you guys on this campus know what the act called Yik Yak is, right? So, one of our goals is to change the culture of this campus. When we have so many students posting, anonymously of course, on Yik Yak, really inappropriate and unacceptable things, that's not okay. So when we talk about what are our goals, changing the culture, it's making people realize that those things aren't funny, they're not jokes, we're not 5 anymore. This isn't okay. And how you can help. Hold each other accountable. Because if you continue to let it be and laugh and like it and continue to initiate it, it's only going to get worse. So remember, goals. To hold Sue accountable and to hold one another accountable.
Let's go, serious! Right there, right there in his shirt.
I'm right there.
Kim, we got you. Oh, okay. So, one thing I want to add on to that, one way that we plan on concretely holding
Can I put my hand down? Can y'all see me? So I can put my
one way we want to hold, SLU students accountable for some of the things posted on Yik Yak is ideas of, typing up some of these comments that are made on Yik Yak and putting them around campus. Because I feel like it's very easy to get behind a cell phone or whatever you're doing and type, but I want you to have to look in the face what you're saying every day. I want you to see it. And for people who doubt that there's things wrong in the culture of SLU, you look at some of those Yik Yak comments and you can no longer doubt unless you just lie to yourself.
Hold on. Yeah, it's on you.
Can you park that question? Can you guys park the question just for 1 second? I wanted to elaborate a little bit more as far as like whoever had the question, as far as like what the very particular goals were for this sit-in.
Loud.
Okay, so I don't know if this thing's turned up. I'm not a professional organizer and I'm not used to like using the bullhorn. So I wanted to elaborate a little bit more on the answer to the question of what the goals are. So there were 2 very defined goals to the sit-in. One, as what's her name? Is that Kim? As Kim said, if we don't address these issues, it's only going to get worse. And I can't emphasize how true that is. So you have a lot of people who are really frustrated and really angry and have a lot of passion and energy that needs to be channeled, and they want results because they've been dealing with being oppressed for a long time, generation after generation after generation. And so we did this as a symbolic, something that these people can see, so that we can kind of like buy time as we're trying to kind of like figure out, hey, where do we go from here? So that was one of the reasons, but the most important reason was, as I said when I opened up, it was an awareness initiative to, as I said before, kind of like bring it to people's attention who are in a privileged position and have the choice to not deal with it, to actually kind of like force people in privileged positions to deal with it, so that they can kind of like open dialogue with their parents and with their family members and with your friends, like, hey, what is this about? And people can start thinking and talking about it who otherwise wouldn't.
I got you. Hold on.
All right, so my question is about the, I guess, actions that happened in Shaw earlier this week. Specifically during one of the protests. During one of the protests? Oh, okay. How, even though, I guess, post-QT, the focus of the movement was supposed to be on less destructive terms, would you be able to talk about the reason there was some commercial property damage and also damage to city vehicles during some of those nights? And also, I guess, kind of like the burning of American flags there. And during that time, well, no, hold on.
I definitely want to talk.
When
answer
you,
this question.
I guess, picked the inverted flag to sort of be the symbol here, did you take into account the kind of images that the burning of the flag earlier had done and the possible implications that that might imply about your movement?
Okay, so let me be clear. One of your questions was, what can we say about, Kim, can you stay with him? Can you stay with him? I just want to clarify what you were asking. You were, what? No. You mentioned property damage. We weren't there. Were you?
No.
What was your?
So then
Where'd you hear that?
Okay, so there was Alright, so as I'm sure all of you guys know, there have been a lot of internet streamers ever since the whole thing kind of first started in Ferguson this summer. And I guess like watching clips from that was how I was able to see. And then I also saw some stuff on KSDK. And that was where I saw the like city vehicles having like the windows smashed out. But is that, yeah.
Okay, so to respond to your question as far as property damage happened.
So the question is what are our feelings about property damage and any of the things that have been seen on live streaming, such as property damage like cars or burning flags or things of that nature? How do we feel about that and how does that apply to us?
I raised my hand, Mary. I want to answer the question because I was there.
Fire!
Sorry.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, just so you guys know, my name is Chloe. I'm a senior here. I would really just like to say that us focusing on the imagery of property damage, burning flags, like cars being damaged, windows broken. Talk about the imagery of a body on the ground.
For 4.5 hours. There we go.
Property that you can replace when you can't replace a life. So can we get back to the issue at hand that people are dying?
Bam. I want to answer that though, because like I was the live stream and I was there. Can I answer that as a live stream that was there? So I was actually a live stream that was there. I've been covering the Ferguson events every night that I can. So, you know, I'm not a token for the black community. I'm not a token for all of the protesters out there, but my perspective as someone who has been getting to know the youth who are out there very frustrated, very frustrated is that, you know, you're dealing with muted voices. And for all of us who know the theory, that can be very dangerous, right? So after 400 plus years of oppression, of slavery, of systematic oppression that continues on. Like, can you imagine how it feels to be a descendant of slaves that never got paid reparations, but then has to go work for money that's made out of the same cotton that our ancestors picked? Like, our frustration goes back so far. I'm not excusing the fact that people are frustrated and using various forms of, like, I'm going to say of diversity of tactics, right? Because my protest is to stream and get as much information as I can out there. So although my commentary might be biased on the side of the people, I mean, you know, everybody else has Glenn Beck and Fox News. So it's like, I'm not attacking you. I'm not at all. What I'm saying is my perspective of it, and I could totally be wrong because I don't know the people that did it. What I'm saying is what you're dealing with is a group of frustrated individuals who feel like they're not being heard and that they're being cheated constantly, that the justice system doesn't represent justice for them. A lot of the times I hear that in a black community, we say innocent before guilty, but then we go to jail, which I think is a hostage situation because they talk about ransom in the form of bail before we ever even get to an arraignment. But with the Darren Wilson incident, we're having a protest over whether or not to charge him with something we know happened. Let the courts deal with it if this is truly a system of justice. So that's why you're seeing a lot of things, in my opinion, that maybe not everybody agrees with. As far as the burning of the flag, I mean, I know that there are certain implications with the imagery. I happen to agree with the sister over there that said, let's pay attention to the facts, because I also know about people who are inserted into the movement. I know that from my experience at Occupy Oakland, because I am from Oakland, California, that there are a lot of people who came who were not from Oakland, but they came to tear up the city and took away from our message. I never broke a thing in my city. I never tagged anything. I never threw nothing at the police. I was out there screaming and frustrated because I'm a college student who was the top speaker of open parliamentary debate for the state. I had a scholarship, but they took my financial aid because it takes more than 2 years to graduate from a 2-year, especially when I'm working. So I'm out there frustrated with the redress of grievance on City Hall steps and being attacked. And we have outside provocateurs who are inserted or inserted themselves as opportunists or on purpose because they want to hurt the message because it challenges the establishment and makes them uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
once again, I'm going to stop because, like I said, I can't speak for people because I'm not a token. But from my perspective as somebody who observes all the time, that's what I think.
I'm gonna just wrap it up with a question for something that I want you to think about, and anybody else that has questions about burning flags and property damage. If you walked out and you saw your brother dead on the street and he had been shot multiple times by police officers and his body was on the street for 4.5 hours, would you be asking about property damage? Would you be asking about a burning flag?
real.
If that was your brother on them streets, shot multiple times and left there for 4.5 hours?
Heck no.
So that's something that I would like for you to think about, and anybody else. Okay, next question.
Hi, all. My name is Daniel Carter. I'm a freshman. My question is regarding the answer to the thing about the reports of property damage. Also, I think an object that we can all agree on is that you can never let a violent action, whether right or wrong, perpetuate further violent actions.
You can't be violent to property. It doesn't feel anything.
There we go! There we go! You can replace a window, you cannot replace a life.
You're violent against the people that own that property, the individuals, the small business.
They have a life!
Process.
Okay? So take a chill pill and listen.
Hold on. I want to make this known, y'all. This is something that has never happened before. This is new for everybody. We need to respect everyone's opinions. Even if we don't necessarily agree with them, we need to let them talk and let them get that out. This is the first time, especially in a place like this, with this amount of numbers, that we've actually had dialogue like this. So we want this to be something that continues on. So let's continue to make this a safe space so that everybody is not criticized for what they feel.
Right.
We can argue through the evening whether or not property ownership is a right of people. I mean, the Native Americans didn't believe it was a good thing. The Western Europeans do. Regardless, in America, it's a recognized fact that you can own things, and when they're taken away from you, that is also a crime. And I just want to ask if it's a clear statement here that we never support that kind of reaction to violence, because I mean it sheds a horrible light on the whole protest. I mean, we need answers, certainly, but that's not the way to do it.
Hold on, wait, I want to respond because I've been at the protest since day one, and you want to talk about violence?
Okay.
The first day of the protest, I met a 3-year-old who was out at the protest, who had tears in his eyes. You know what he told me? He said to me, "They shot Mike, and I saw him dead in the street." A 3-year-old. That is not a reality that has to be in white communities. I've seen it at every single protest. Children who are trying to process the violence that is being perpetuated against them by the people that we pay to protect and serve them. In Canfield, a 7-year-old girl, unprompted, made a button that said, "I don't trust the police." So while you are over here concerned about the imagery of a flag being burned, or the few protesters, and I will tell you that they are a few protesters that did damage to property, there are souls and spirits and lives of children being taken. That's what this is about. about the violence of a flag and property being burned when we are letting children die either physically or spiritually. It's disingenuous. So if you care about the violence, truly, truly care, I want to see you marching with your feet. Because the more people that are out there that are committed to nonviolence, the easier it is for us to control the few violent protesters that are out there. Are you committing to march?
Are you committing to march?
Committing to march? Are you committing to march?
I don't know what you're asking. Hold on. I got the question. I got the question right here. It's her, then that lady, then you.
So what it's called is Howard is doing stack.
We're gonna be out here for a while, y'all.
We're gonna be here if we got all day.
Kim, wait.
This is very GA-like. Howard is doing stack. They have...
I've never used one of these before. So, I have one response to the discussion that just happened, and that's that the violent protesters are a fragment of the movement. They are not representative of the entire movement. While there's a lot of righteous anger and a lot of pain that the black community feels and everyone who is allied with the black community feels, there's also a lot of peace and hope in these protests. You can't stand in the middle of a crowd where everyone's singing about love and then only focus on the violent imagery, and that's what I did today. So there's that.
There's that.
We're the violence of the police. Let's talk about the tanks.
I also have a question for the Black Student Alliance leaders, or members, I suppose. We've talked a lot about walking in the streets and SLU students being a part of the larger movement. Is there any way that we can disseminate information about what's going on outside through Facebook or something? Because I know that sending 80 text messages a day is kind of hard for me, but I do it anyways. So is that a possibility that we could hook people up with different connections?
First, I would just say we have Black Student Alliance and other, student leaders, or not just Black Student Alliance. There's lots of leaders up here, not just Black Student Alliance. There's community leaders here, people part of NESB, Black Student Alliance. I just want to make sure we're aware that it's not just one organization contributing to this. There's multiple people coming together to make this happen.
Yes, we can do that. We can definitely do that. But we need to get away from this. Oh, my name is Chris. I'm president of the Black Student Alliance. And so I believe we need to get away from this idea that the Black Student Alliance is only for Black students. You cannot join the Black Student Alliance if you're not Black. So let's get away from that. And always show up to a BSA events. We're open to anyone coming and everyone coming and plug in with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and get to know what we're doing. The executive board is extremely inviting and welcoming. And so please, you have to make an effort to join these organizations as well. Also, you all pay into all of these multicultural organizations through the student activity fee. And so if you join these organizations just on that ground alone, that's something you should do as well. And so yeah, we can definitely do that.
If you guys have a question and you put it up here, I'll try to ask it for you.
Also, I
I have
want to make
600
a general
people
comment
attending
as well.
this right now.
This isn't us speaking to you guys. This isn't supposed to be a lecture. This is supposed to be a dialogue and shared information between all of us. So please get involved. Raise your hand. Ask a question. Answer a question. We don't want this to be a back and forth. We don't want this to be a back and forth between you all and us and the facilitators. And we're going to speak less so you all can talk more. Next question.
So large. Why not break out into groups?
Hi, my name is Savannah. I'm a sophomore here at SLU. I wanted to get back to the goals for a second. I know a lot of our parents have been frequently calling us today asking concern for our safety. I also wanted to speak to the fact that I know we're adults upwards of 18, 19, 20 years old, but our opinions are so biased because of the way we were raised. And I feel like we are not our parents. We have the opportunity here to have a completely different viewpoint. And if you're telling your mom and dad, oh my God, I walked past a crowd of angry protests today, they're not going to understand what's really going on. You need to have an open mind, get away from the mindset of your parents. And I'm not saying anyone's parents are like disrespectful or having wrongful viewpoints, but we're a new generation and we have the chance to create something totally different with ourselves. When we graduate, we will be our parents. We need, you can't just agree with your father telling you, oh, don't go to the protests, you're gonna get robbed, you're gonna get mugged. No, you need to stand up for what is right. I don't care if it's your mom, your grandma, your friend, anyone in class with you. You need to have an open mind and a voice. And I just wanted to applaud everyone for being here today. You are not your parents. We are a new generation that are open thinkers, and yeah, that's it.
All right, next question. Oh, go ahead.
Is this on? Okay, so a couple people across today and the days leading up to today have shared different things about protests and sit-ins and vigils that made them uncomfortable. Maybe last night when there was, people on our campus, people who maybe you didn't know, people in our community, maybe that made you uncomfortable. And I want you to think about what that uncomfortability felt like if you felt that way. I want you to really feel that for a second. Because every single day, that is how minority students feel.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Every single day, that's how they feel. And that minority student is everywhere. Students of color, queer students, students with different abilities, students of different ethnicities, students who have been bullied, students who are feminists, students who have any identity that isn't popular.
That's right. That's right.
I want you to understand that maybe you don't agree with some of this, and maybe some of this makes you uncomfortable, maybe you're unsure, maybe whatever. But ultimately, this is a conversation. The more you talk about it, the more active you are, the more difference you'll see on campus. So stop focusing on irrelevant small topics and think more about what you can do to be a voice for others. That's what this is about. Being a voice so that way this doesn't have to happen every time something goes wrong on campus. That we can come together without a protest, without a sit-in, and that people won't feel comfortable being assholes on our campus.
We got a stack. I got y'all. It's right here. We got a stack going. We got my dude up here. He been holding his hand. We got the lady right here. We got back next to her. I got you.
Hello? Okay. I want to counter a narrative that I think is very dangerous, that I think a lot of people it seems very quick to make this distinction between those violent, dangerous protesters that, again, are violent against this unfeeling thing, this unfeeling legal fiction called property, and the actual, death of a human being.
Thank you.
Right, that people see a continuity between those things. Look, there's something very, very important that needs to be remembered about this whole movement that is being more or less suppressed or forgotten by a lot of mainstream organizations, and that is that nobody cared about Mike Brown's death except for the people that knew him until the Quick Trip burned down.
Thank you.
Nobody cared that, this is not, Mike Brown wasn't the first black guy murdered by a cop.
Damn straight.
That happens all the time. The only reason people in America cared was because there was looting and because something went on fire.
Right.
And that is very revealing of something about how America operates. And I'm going to say it very clearly. In this country, property is more valuable than human life.
Exactly.
Especially black and brown human life.
Especially black and brown.
And I'm going to say something else. It has always been that way.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you read that Constitution, when they say property, they mean something. They mean the most important piece of property that founded this country. African slaves.
Damn.
That's what they're trying to protect with
They
that
say
word.
that's why white people don't like black people on their property, because it's illegal to have stolen property on your property.
That's what they mean by it. So whenever you hear people talking about this thing of the sanctity of the right to property, you should recognize that is code for the power structure that exists.
Yes, we
That's
are.
all I have to say.
I'm operating as a temporary point person for TribeX if you want to drop off supplies for Occupy SLU.
I think a lot of students have an issue with is the question of, so because this is all happening, does that mean that we condone this, that we agree with it, that we're against it? The bigger idea that you need to take away is that while we agree that it's not okay and that we're not saying let's go out and burn stuff, we are not the people who are doing it, and so therefore we cannot control the actions of others. We can only control the actions of ourselves and hope that people will be considered their own person.
You know what I mean? So then the direct response can come to the speaker. So y'all don't know what.
You cool up there? You don't want to talk?
Just trying to help them. I've seen a lot of general assemblies, and this looks like one. And that stack can work a little easier on facilitation.
Yeah, we got one up here. Oh, no. Sorry, ma'am. You can go head over there. Okay, go ahead. Oh, yeah. Yeah, go to the point to the.
Hold on, so I'm about to help them organize real quick.
Alright, I think we can all agree that violence is kind of a bad thing. Violence begets violence, and it's a terrible cycle. Most notably,
state their name and their question. Then the direct responses can come out the crowd directly to the speaker. It's easier on y'all.
Because honestly, I don't know. Why was he shot? And I ask this for everyone here. Why was Von Derek Meyer shot? I'm confused.
Well, there were 3 different stories by the police, so we really don't know.
Does the crowd want to answer this question?
I'm like, because I can get it. The first answer is because he was black. That's the first one, number one. And then the police give 3 different accounts of the story at least that I can keep track of. So we really don't know.
Young man as well as Mike Brown was shot due to the fragility of black and brown lives. Not what? I believe that young man and Mike Brown was shot due to the fragility of black and brown lives not mattering to stick systematically and throughout the history of this particular government. I also believe that when people talk about violence, I deal with violence within my art practice, so I am not one of those, oh, violence doesn't matter, we all need to cut it, have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Because I'm aware that taxation without representation led to the Boston Tea Party and the elimination of a lot of property owned by the imperialistic British government at that time.
Bam.
So, therefore, to answer that young man's question, the reason, the overarching reason why these people's lives are being deemed unworthy of
I'm not bashing white people. I'm telling the truth about black people.
Is because of the inherent racist, systematic, imperialist, capitalist, patriarchal society that we all are participants and victims and co-creators of.
There we go.
Another thing that sets his point as why he got shot is
working online.
Hold on.
From what I can tell, it seems that he was a convicted felon that shot 3 times at an officer.
He was not a convicted felon.
Where you get that information?
That is wrong.
Thank you.
He was not a convicted felon. He was picked up on a gun charge. Lots of people carry guns in that neighborhood. I live in that neighborhood.
Hey, and also let me add on this, okay? While we finding out information about Von Derek, right? What's the officer name that shot him?
Right.
Thank you.
Oh, nobody can say anything about that, right?
And while we finding information out about Von Derek, do y'all know where Von Derek's father was employed? All right, I just want to make sure if we're talking about things, we got our research and our facts straight.
I don't know.
Oh, and also, ever since this happened, all they do is incriminate him. They incriminated Michael Brown as well. Just because he was no stranger to law enforcement, does that mean he was supposed to lose his life? I don't think so. So you think about that. One more question.
Oh, okay.
All right, next question.
Okay.
She
I know
really
we started
wanted
to talk about it earlier, but I was just wondering what your response would be to someone who believes that true justice lies within the justice system.
I'll answer that.
Anybody in the
I
audience?
believe I answered that already. That's when you fighting against white privilege right there.
Poli-sci majors, preload. Nobody don't want to speak.
Didn't we just say that the justice
got
system
one right
doesn't
here.
represent justice to us? I said that. I think I said that out my mouth like 10 minutes ago.
I'm not instructor and I'm a sophomore here, still undecided major, but I just want to say I live in Florissant Ferguson district. Like, I lived in those apartments. I partied in those apartments. And so when that man was shot, like, it was all kinds of type of different like electricians like working on stuff, and they all knew it was wrong. It was not just his friends, and the police were just acting so ignorant to the fact of what that just happened. Like, that really upsets me, because at first it did start off peaceful, and I feel like the police kind of made it like they kind of shrugged it off, so that upset the people there the day or the day after that the shooting happened. Number two, I feel like my goal after this protest is to like have more trust in my police, because right now I don't trust the police. If I have an issue, me and my people finna handle it by ourselves. We don't call the police. That's at the issue we on. And so I just feel like, me personally, I've been in situations where like the police are trying to plant something, so I don't trust them. And I feel like with that Shaw shooting, they planted that 9mm gun on him, because this man was sagging. How are you carrying a 9mm gun? You don't. Bro,
Right.
like, that's too big. And then
That's too big.
Like, out here standing on the corner. What an off-duty officer, like, what are you doing? Why are you messing with
What the fuck was the pedestrian stop? You mean because he was black?
Well, and he was an off-duty officer.
One thing I want to make clear, because it's a misconception, there was never a gun planted, and he never had a gun on him. The big thing that the media likes to talk about is that Von Derrick had a gun. The officer felt that his life was in danger, which is why he had to use lethal force. If you've been to ground zero, you'll see the blood stains still on the grass. Von Derrick had taken shots to the back, meaning that he was fleeing from the officer unless he turned around and said, hey, shoot me right here, which I doubt is the case. And if there was a gun, that would be the first thing that would be on the front of the news. This is the gun that he had on him. If you have to see an image of a gun, it is all rumors. To confuse us, you know what I'm saying? Because this is these issues, they did put that on the police report.
Where did the gun come from?
Exactly, that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing.
Well, I just want to know, did he turn and run? Did he fly from the bushes that were nowhere near the front? Or did he fall and start shooting? Which one was
That I
it?
want to make sure we're doing when we're answering questions, we need to answer the question as if the person we're speaking to knows nothing about the case, because that very well may be the case. So when you answer the question, don't assume that anybody knows anything. You need to make what you're trying to say clear.
So, referring to the lady's question about like people who believe that justice can be found in the justice system, I think I can offer a very interesting perspective about that, because I'm like one of those people that believe that, you know, I was really naive about it. This is actually, I didn't even really know a lot about what was going on outside of Michael Brown's, and so I'm really grateful that I came here today to really learn about what's going on and to learn about, you know, what people are standing for and what people are trying to achieve. But as far as the justice system, I've just been doing some research and just really realizing, you know, all these things have been really opening my eyes to the fact that, you know, justice isn't going to come unless people call for it. You know, like, people, I've learned that people, you know, they will get away with what they can get away with unless you call them out on it. And so I think that the fact that we are all here today and we're all, you know, discussing and trying to learn things and trying to stand for things, I think that, you know, that's going to call attention, and that's going to get make people start really looking and kind of tearing tearing the veil from people's eyes to see, like, what is this justice that we're talking about? What is this justice system that we have today? How can we make it better? How can we make it true justice, you know? And so, yeah, I'm definitely want to be a part of it and learn as much as I can and help as much as I can to get justice for the families and the people who've been hurt by these things. Yeah, so as far as justice in the justice system. I think that it's up to us. I think that we have to press, those people that maybe are blind to the fact that there might not be justice in the justice system, or people that think it's all right. So, yeah. I'm Diamond. I'm a freshman.
We got a question over here.
All right.
Well, hold on. Let's get her right here. Let's see their page. Yeah, you had a question?
No.
That's my fault.
Before that happens, I just want to throw in a quick comment. So you said, what if you really do trust in the justice system and the law system? Most of us know about certain laws that have been in place. There were laws that said slavery was okay. There were laws that made it okay for black people to sit in the back of the bus and white people to sit in the front. So you can't always just go with the law and the legal system. Law and the legal system does not mean moral. So the whole point of a democracy is to be able to challenge your law. When you get to a point where you're just taking the law for what it is, you might want to question why you value your society and why democracy is important.
Alright, can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I got two things. One, I think it's absolutely insane that a white guy can go into, say, a movie theater or a school and kill people and
Being arrested and not killed. Oh, let me shut up.
But in Iceland, there was a police officer that actually shot someone and killed them, and the police department, regardless of their race, was upset about it because that just does not happen the way it does here in the United States. It's crazy, right? Second thing, going back to the justice system, a lot of people here, you've probably gotten a traffic ticket, right? Having to go into court for that and pay the fine or whatever. Well, think about the institutionalized racism.
It might be more,
if
you know, I
you're
always
already set
get
back and you get arrested for any reason, regardless of guilty or innocent, think of how much those bills pile up just going into court, let alone whether you can pay it. Okay, the cities actually benefit from this institutionalized racism.
Exactly.
So that's something that we have to consider.
Who was it?
No, hold on. My man right here.
Can everybody hear me?
Real quick,
No.
for questions.
Any questions? If I point to you, we're going to either go to two different lines. Well, because we got to only have two mics. So please, can you either go to one of the two lines if you want to have a question, and I'll point to you.
Well, they said helicopters just left.
And please say your name.
Hey everybody, my name is Josh Jones. I'm a Master's of Social Work candidate.
I'm operating as a temporary point person that gets the phone until y'all
I'm
can
also
figure
a
out the
graduate
show.
assistant for the African American male
The
scholars.
10 people that came earlier.
I wanted to
No,
speak
but
to
did the lady bring 10
why
and
young man was
pieces?
killed on Shaw last 5 days ago. I guess you could say, I guess what my reason behind it would have to be rooted in the way that we are policing black male life in a way that is
Pull it away from your face a little bit.
I don't know what's going on.
You holding it too close.
Too close?
Just, you gotta yell, my
I'm
brother.
a yell though? Okay. But the way we're policing black young life is not aligned with the way that we're policing life in general. Because in certain instances, black males are threats by just being in a certain environment.
Okay.
We're a threat by just being who we are. And it came to light when I was on Shaw on Saturday, and just the imagery of black men standing on the corner versus white college students standing on the corner right in front of Humphreys. One group is a threat in that environment, and one group is just hanging out, having a good time. So we need to challenge the system that allows this racial discrimination on people by just looking at them and then assuming criminalization is present, when the actuality is that people are just being teenagers living life and the normalcy of black criminalization is why he was killed.
Don't judge a book by its cover, you know, that type of deal.
Any more questions?
We got a question right here.
Hello, hey, my name is Savannah once again. I wanted to speak to really what we can do as a community to fix the laws that we spoke to earlier in legislation that's actually put us in this way. I have family members in the federal justice system and the state representative. I know how it works, and you can't. I realize that this is getting awareness for this community, this college, and the surrounding area. I feel like we also need to move the protests and the awareness to the government level. Like, contact your representatives, contact people that can do things about it. We can rally all we want, but we need to get to the actual.
You could tell some of the students like I be staying on campus, grab a 10, shit, studying that. Tonight it's midterm, you on campus.
I know it's hard, but
It's 10
we
outside
have
the
to
library.
do something about it. And I think really, like, if every one of us here wrote a letter to a legislator or a law enforcement, we would get change. And I feel like in order to have our voices heard and not just through like a BuzzFeed article shared on Facebook, you have to go to where it actually exists.
She's saying you have to participate in electoral politics in order to truly affect change, but she's saying maybe do it in an overwhelming manner. You have to contact your legislators. There are going to be people who disagree with that because it's not. That's why you have a very large jaded community.
That exist are far beyond just the reach of our government. I think that society as a whole is an oppressor, and it's found in our media, it's found in what we teach our children, it's found in the school systems, it's found in the separation of our economy and the inequalities that exist there. I don't think that this is just an issue that comes from laws. Thus, we are taking steps like these action groups in order to move forward. Now what I'm about to say is that this is going to take some time. This is just the beginning.
Exactly.
There were sit-ins in 1960 in Nashville of African Americans that were waiting for their rights to come forward. It was the beginning of the movement where Martin Luther King came forth and declared that in this country there would be freedom, and that freedom would ring. That freedom does not exist here. There are young men and women who are unable to walk about the streets without feeling fear. Fear that a cop will pull them over. Fear that their life will be imprisoned. Things are not right here, and we obviously know that. Okay? Inequality exists. Our next step is to create a plan, create an action, create a movement that will allow us to move forward in the direction that's necessary to allow freedom to ring.
If you guys want to bring supplies down for Occupy SLU, you can bring them down to the clock tower and locate the TribeX members.
I don't believe that there are things that we can add to legislation right now, because reform is not the way. You know what I'm saying? It was founded on bad soil. You know what I'm saying? Like the man touched on earlier, we were never in the picture for this American dream. You know what I'm saying? So the only way really to fix things is to start over, start from scratch. And a lot of people are afraid of that because they don't know what that looks like. But we're pretty intelligent people, you know what I'm saying? And I think when people are actually able to perceive things for what they are, because we've been going through these things for so long that we're numb to it, you know what I'm saying? And there's been different things that have been implemented, like the wealth gap between the black community and the white community, that solidifies systemic racism and things like that. And those are all just a result, I guess, for lack of better words, of our current legislation and economical ladder and just America, you know what I'm saying? The
I'm at SLU.
And so we're gonna have to do this over, is what I gotta say today.
No, Occupy SLU. I'm at SLU, filming Occupy SLU. Where are you?
Louder. So, there's like a lot of ideological talk happening right now, and there's no like tangible like results that I'm really seeing. I'm seeing a lot of like ideology, like what can I do just as a broke ass college student? Because I'm pretty sure a lot of these like volunteers right now are
Can I
wondering that
answer
as well.
that? I really got an answer for that. I really have an answer for that.
What was the question?
Right. I got a couple
The
answers for
question
them.
was, what can you do as a broke college student or college student period to help? Wait a second, wait a second.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Am I good? Yeah. All right. A lot of people are looking at this expecting something to change overnight.
Exactly.
Don't think because you came and sat out here that tomorrow everything is all good and great. It won't be. Really though. Okay? What you can do that'll make change eventually, because it'll take time, is make others aware. Your friends that aren't here, where you go, homeboy? Your friends that ain't here? Let them know. They need to be educated and aware of these things, because a lot of times people here at SLU like to say, oh, I didn't know. I'm from a suburban town where I wasn't raised around black people and I wasn't exposed to this.
$5.99. I'm telling you, sorry, $6. $599. $600. About
I just want y'all to hear me. Let's eliminate that by educating. This ain't all of SLU's campus right here. Not everybody's getting this dialogue.
Oh, okay.
Take it to
Y'all
them
just getting
so that we can work together to fix it.
Shout out.
But really
They
though.
did. They got a shout out for helping. I got a couple of suggestions. You're a broke ass college student. I feel that. Me too. Right. Okay. So, if you are a person of color, your job is to be patient and educate. That doesn't cost you money. But people are naive. They believe what they see on mainstream media. It's a problem. Help them out. If you are one of our, privileged individuals, your job is to be open-minded. If you can count the number of black friends you got on one hand, you need to do better. You know what I'm saying? Get out there, open your mind, be willing to learn from your friends, and also realize that they are not the spokesperson for every black person in America. The second thing you could do is also remember that your black friend saying something is okay does not mean that I think it's okay. I'm just saying, Also, once you have started to get out there outside your comfort zone and get to know other people, your next job is to infect your other friends who are not doing that. And not just tell them, but actions speak louder than words. So stop reinforcing stereotypes once you learn your guilt of reinforcing those stereotypes, no matter how small. These things seem simple. They will not be. They will be difficult. They will make you cry. They will make you lose friends. That's how you know you're doing it right.
If you guys have questions or want to say something, make sure you line up behind one of the lines. So there's one here and there's one right there, just so you know. Okay.
All right, so they have stacks going on, y'all. It's looking like a GA. They're getting organized.
So this morning I marched with people of Ferguson to demonstrate solidarity with Ferguson, and I wrote to Mr. Document. What is this war we're fighting for with police brutality? Essentially keeping the people poor with the same mentality. Sadly, we can't dream and believe in sanity. It's insanity that this double standard of duality stands at hand with all the majesty of pageantry blown out of proportion is our reality. The casualties of this war are the children born to hearing racial slurs called out by the millions casually. Do you not see the resemblance to a nation that hates its own so passionately? We gave homes to people of all nationalities, and rationally can't explain the hate that festers through commonality. Beneath this red, white, and blue, we all bleed red, a concept long forgotten and left for dead. So instead of knowledge now, we fill kids with lead. Wed to death, what did society expect when it lied to me? We were told to reflect on actions sown by fear and anxiety. Rightfully, these wicked, vivid visions of propriety show if we don't stand defiantly with our voices raised righteously, we'll live with our heads in a dynasty of inequality instead of final piety.
That was tight, y'all.
Sorry, I know my voice is like really annoying. So I think, okay, so privilege is like a word. Really? Okay, that's never happened before. Okay, so privilege is like a word that I feel like scares a lot of people and has been mentioned a lot. And I think, personally for me, it's not about apologizing for your privilege. It's not about guilt necessarily. What we need to do to advocate change is accept our privilege and use it to advocate for others. Like, we have avenues that are available to us as privileged human beings, because the people who are being oppressed do not. And it's not about like saying, oh, so sorry that's happening to you, which it wasn't. It's about being like, let me use the avenues that are available to me. Let me show them to you. Like, let me like unite with you together on this using all of our facilities.
We're not saying that this is not an issue that doesn't affect everybody. What we are saying is that it is rampant and it's a fucking epidemic in the United States. Allow people to have their argument, not to take from yours.
Hello, my name's Ethan. I'm a freshman here at SLU. And I have a question, because you guys say that we cannot trust the mainstream media, but how can we trust the eyewitnesses? How can we trust them if we personally don't know them ourselves, as we don't know the mainstream media?
Well, go out there yourself!
There you go! There you go!
She just suggested a really good thing. Go out there yourself.
Can I also respond? I know that it's really difficult because there's so many different stories out there, and there's so many different things on media, from your friends, from, oh, at home my dad said that on news there's this, and blah, blah, blah. I get it. The idea behind it, though, is that sometimes the little details don't always matter. Sometimes the little who it was, where it was, why it was, doesn't always matter. But the bigger idea and purpose of what is going on is what matters. So the idea that a boy was shot for no apparent reason, allegedly unarmed, is the problem. Or the fact that this is one of many situations is the problem. So while it is very difficult to know what avenue of information do I trust, do your best, do your research, look and see what makes the most sense, and talk about it amongst other people, because that's the only way that you're going to get the best information and the most accurate thing. Of course, we're not going to know exactly what happened, but try
Right
your
on,
best
Anonymous.
to educate yourself in the most whole-rounded situation.
I'll add to that, to comment on what he said. He said, why do you say don't trust mainstream media, but you expect me to trust an eyewitness who I don't know personally? Well, you don't know the newscaster either, and he got all his information from that eyewitness.
There you go.
I would take
And then they form a narrative because they're paid and back corporate entities that have investment in law enforcement. Like, this shit is systemic.
Situation, Mike Brown's situation, who were going around and getting witnesses' statements. You know what I'm saying? I consider that to be more valid information than the mainstream media, especially knowing that mainstream media is only about highlighting things to get their ratings up, and they're not really about talking the truth. You know what I'm saying? It's all
Mainstream media is not covering this, but they are covering the protests at Walmart because there are arrests. Riot porn brings ratings. Spreading education, knowledge.
Am I in? Okay.
They don't want this.
Sorry, I have a direct comment. One of the things you have to realize about the mainstream media, that everything is pretty much owned by, I haven't done my math recently, but when I had done it, it was about 9 conglomerates.
Right.
And now these conglomerates own many different companies. They're owned by at least one, so these conglomerates, there's about 9 conglomerates. And they own pretty much about any kind of property you can think of in the United States today. And a lot of that, speaking very frankly, also goes into the prison system, where they actually have private prisons where they use basically policy enforcement that encapsulates, a high percentage of African Americans, and they put them in that system. And so a lot of what's going on, a lot of these protests are against that very system, and the mainstream media is not going to make any money off that. They're going to lose profit. So really think about who is owning these media corporations, because they have a very high stake in that property, because we are all property. Thank you.
like I said, mainstream media is not here covering this because it's much more exciting to see people arrested protesting Walmart, which is awesome, but
what I
so
recommend
is
you
this.
really be concerned with is what they didn't show you.
Right.
What wasn't on the cameras, what wasn't filmed, what you didn't see. I'm not telling you to take my perspective, to take anybody's perspective, but what I'm saying is they feed off your ignorance. If you want to know what's going on, go find out what's going on. You don't have to listen. We all right here in St. Louis. If you had a question about why we're protesting or why we're here, there was people here all day. So if you're one of those people that just believe whatever email or whatever phone call you got or text message, but you have people who you could have spoke with right here, that allows people to feed off your ignorance. Go ask those people. Go get their perspective. Stop listening to
Go watch my live archive video stream of everything that happened for 7 hours. That's also another way.
Hey, can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Alright, my name is Grant, and I just want to look big picture for a hot second and speak on the incidents of Mike Brown and Von Myers. It seems like many people never really got their questions answered. I hope those guys are still hanging around. Personally, I think that one problem many of us are dealing with is the innocence or guilt of individuals such as Mike Brown and Von I think we could sit here and debate why those teenagers were shot, what they're holding, what the media says, etc. For a long time, and I don't think we're ever going to come to conclusions because we weren't there. Ultimately, in my opinion, that doesn't really matter in the broad picture. Yes, it is heinous and inexcusable that teenagers were killed. I'm not trying to take away from that part of your guys' argument, but we'll never know the facts. I think we should be focusing more on the background reasons that caused the disputes in the first place. Reasons that I think are the true cause of this movement, like profiling, systematic racism, institutionalized discrimination. Whether you care to admit it or not, I think black Americans do not have equal protection of the law. They don't have sufficient opportunity in this country or in this city specifically. That is the root reason for this forum. That is the root reason for protest. The deaths of teenagers... I'm thinking, thank you. The deaths of teenagers is a terrible, terrible, terrible crime. But those deaths, and this is just my take on this whole protest, are examples and kind of figureheads of the oppression that black America faces every day. That is the issue, not who killed who, at least in my opinion. A black man on the street is not treated the same way by law enforcement, and that is something we have to agree on, and it has to stop. I don't think the back and forth about individual incidents will bring about much action. We gotta look big picture. That's just my 2 cents. Thank you. Take it as you will. Much love. Woo!
No, but you know what? You know, Revolutionary Z's stack is short, and there's me. And we're just live streamers, and we make sure that there's cameras as many events as possible. These are mega conglomerate. Like these are huge networks. They have hundreds of reporters. Why is this not being covered? Is what I'm saying.
Put your name, your contact information, and if you're a student.
That's what I'm saying. So we can be here covering this, so could they, but they don't want to highlight the fact that people are actually having this conversation.
I just want to make 3 really quick points.
Can you speak up?
I just want to make 3 really quick points. I'm going to try to be brief. I'm a journalist. I'm a member of the working press. And
Here we go.
I think what we all need to, on the subject of the media, we all need to develop media literacy, because you can't trust no one, but you can trust people who you get to know. And if you get to know someone, I spent the day with Von Myers' family, and we watched on CNN today the news about their son. And right before, it was 20 minutes about Ebola, and then it was 5 minutes about Von Myers, and then it was about the violent protesters.
Violent protesters.
So just think about the framing in between, this disease coming from Africa, the black plague is coming after you, and the black mob is coming after you.
It's a disease coming from Africa, black plague, black criminal. He's in like the way that they put it together.
And on the point of what someone else said, that we don't have immediate results right now, I think that this is progress. This is a beautiful thing.
Right.
That the students of your campus here are out here together and not just playing the game of
let's study and party and try and avoid eye contact with people, right? And the last thing is raw facts, no commentary. 2013 in Ferguson, something like 82% of traffic stops in the city were executed on black people, and 92% of car searches were also executed on black people. And the Ferguson Police Department is 83% white.
Thank you.
So think about that. It ain't an accident.
So those numbers should help you put some shit into perspective.
Can everyone hear me? Okay, I'll try to talk louder. Okay, my name's Anna. I'm a sophomore here, and I'm a psychology major. And in one of my classes, we've been talking a lot about this, and a lot about what we're talking about is institutional racism, and how the greater picture here, the problem is not the individual policemen. So this is not about black men versus the police. It's about how we train our police in the academy. When the young man was killed in Shaw,
Mexico,
yes,
Argentina, and
he allegedly
Colombia.
had a gun, and yes, he allegedly shot first. But why did the police officer have to shoot 17 times?
Thank you. That's what you need to ask.
16 times. Now,
That fucking helicopter. What the fucking
our police
fuck?
officers are taught to shoot and to kill. They're not taught to shoot to stop. Which, okay, I can understand in some sort of situations. But allegedly, the gun that the young man had locked after 3 shots. That means that he did not have the ability to defend himself. That means he did not have the ability to defend himself after being shot 16 times. We need to change how our police are trained and how our society is taught to view our policemen and the people of the communities that they serve. The people of their communities, no matter if they're male, female, black, white, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, or any form of European descent, does not give any of the police people leading their community the right to do whatever they please if they feel the least bit threatened.
I agree with the independent civilian review process.
I'm a freshman here. I want to address something about the flag, but before I do, I want to clarify, I'm not addressing to take away what this is about. I completely agree with the importance of addressing police brutality, and I'll stand out here all damn day if I have to.
Hands up!
Don't shoot!
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 Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
No, you're all good. But as I was saying, I don't want what I'm about to say to take away from the fact that I agree with addressing the problems of police brutality and excessive use of force. I'm not even a black person, and I have a problem with the fact that whenever I see a police officer, I feel more paranoid than safe.
Thank you.
So, yes, ma'am. So I don't want what I'm about to say to take away from that. That being said, the fact that today, when a fellow SLU student of mine and myself went to pick the flag up off the ground, I have a problem that I was threatened. I was told, walk away before you get hurt. Now, I have a problem with that, and I'm not trying to call anybody out. But my problem is that the threat to keep the flag on the ground makes it seem that our cause supports making the flag look like a piece of trash. And I realize that it is just a material thing, and it is just a piece of cloth. But that same piece of cloth is used to cover the caskets of people that die in uniform, including black men and women who die in uniform. And by threatening to keep
the flag laying on the ground, it equates it to something of trash, and by equating it to trash and that being on the caskets of people that have died in uniform, it makes our cause look bad. And I like I said, I completely support what we are trying to do here, but I think there's a more productive symbol that we can pick to make our cause look better, and that will give us more authority and reliability when it comes to spreading our message. So thank you and God bless.
All right, so I'm going to who made the comment to you respond, actually, because I don't speak for the person that told you that, and I'll apologize. I'm going to let the person who made the comment to you respond, and on my behalf, I'm going to apologize to whoever, the group.
Y'all hear me? Y'all hear me? All right. Now, we put the flag over there for the reason that we already... we put the flag over there, and we already told y'all why we did what we did. Now, the person who was trying to take the flag up, and I seen him and I confronted him about it, I didn't say I will hurt you or say anything like that, and you know I did. I told you this is how it's gonna happen. You're gonna give me the flag, and then you're gonna walk the other way. That is not nothing like I'm about to beat you up or nothing like that. But you know why we are here. We are here for some non-violent stuff. So don't come over here trying to mess up what we got going, because it's a greater cause than all of this. Understand what we're trying to do. And if you didn't understand what we're trying to do, at least ask. Because all you was doing was just talking, and you wasn't trying to listen to nothing I was saying. So if you can't hear me, well, I'm just gonna tell you how it's gonna go. And that's why you walk the other way. Don't start lying on my name. Don't start putting words in my mouth. Now you understand.
Do you have something else to say?
I mean, you know, it was a very deliberate thing. That's where they placed it. It's a part of their protest. They meant that. I mean,
I just have a comment about
I wasn't here though.
Y'all feel bad about the flag? Sorry, but our parents, not just black parents, parents have to cry every night after going overseas and fighting for the freedom of their children, only to come home and have their kid shot and killed for going to the store. So therefore, we feel like we shouldn't give respect because respect is to be earned. We earned our respect. We pay our taxes. We try to be a good citizens. We try to live right and walk on the straight and narrow and be as legal as possible. Yet, we can't get out of our house and go to the store without being harassed. So we don't know what else to do to get attention. So we got to get the president's attention. We got to get the Jay Nixon's attention. We got to start messing stuff up to get attention, because obviously peacefulness has got us nowhere.
Damn.
So if you're sorry about
Damn.
say sorry to the parents who are crying every night because they have to bury their child. They shouldn't have to bury their child. There is no name for a parent who has to bury their child. There's a name for everybody else who has to bury something, but not a parent who has to bury their child. It's inhumane to shoot somebody 16 times. It's overkill. It's overkill. You don't shoot nobody that many times, period. And if you got the proper training, you know that. That's all I'm saying is respect where we coming from.
Ferguson PD make Oakland PD look like little teddy bears.
No parent or grandparent should have to beg, look in their child's eyes and beg you, please, come back home. My grandparents, we stay in the Shaw neighborhood. I stay in the middle of that. My grandmother, every time I leave, she say, please, whatever you do, come back home. They have to worry about themselves. But they worried about us more than they worried about anything. They say, please, come back home. And they're not worried about a gang. They're worried about the police. We have to walk out of our house and worry about police on some different districts coming and shooting us down. And then they bring up stuff from our past and won't let us rewrite our past. No one is perfect. We all made mistakes as a child. That's what children do. But you give them the chance to rewrite their past. If that's the case, this country's been on a whole bunch of lies. That flag should be burnt down. This country has been through a lot to see
Blood.
Racism. Stolen land.
Blood.
But you get mad over a flag when we're mad over our lives, lost lives. You can make another flag. We can't make another child. Period.
They for sale 99 cents at Home Depot.
They should have to beg us to come home.
All right.
All right. My name is Digger, and I live down in south of here in Shaw neighborhood. I live on the same block that the Cotton and Myers family live on. That's the family of Von Derek. So I know that family, and I was there just at that night after he was shot within a block of my house. And I've been a part of the demonstrations, and you know, that some of my neighbors have been complaining about. But I'm telling you, I'm with you, but boy, I'm telling you, y'all are really loud. But just a couple of things. So yeah, it is, you know, it's Von Derek. He was picked up on a gun charge some months ago, was waiting disposition of that. And then in the media they act like, and some people seem to think like, well, you know, that proves that he had a gun, so he must be a thug.
He had a gun 3 months ago.
Yeah.
3 months ago.
Yeah, that's right. And I want to, you know, I got to tell you something. I live in that neighborhood. If they shot everyone that carried a gun in that neighborhood, the bodies would be piled really high.
Yeah.
You know? Why is it that when you hear about a black youth with a gun, and it's like, oh, he's a thug, but in the media, but, you know, then they show if it's white people with guns, they're heroes, you know?
Or they had a mental health issue. They not a thug, they had a mental health issue.
I'm not going to go into the whole case about what happened. I just want to talk about GCI security, because they're the people that killed Von Derek. They used to be called high-tech security. First of all, they have a dirty record. They have paid hundreds of thousands of dollars in damages to people they have unlawfully detained. They have beat up people. You know, these are mostly off-duty St. Louis policemen. And they have in fact, their record was so dirty that Adam Strauss, who owned high-tech security, had to sell the company because to get out. Yes, this could all be verified. They are headquartered right down there on Vanaventer, at 1210 Vanaventer, for your information. And I have been watching them for years. Now, they're not even supposed to be on that place when they're working for GCI. They're contracted to be on Flora Place. They shouldn't have even been there. Now, there was a vote in Shaw neighborhood. Some people wanted to pay money to have high-tech, now GCI, patrol the neighborhood, and it was voted down. And you know why we voted it down? Because we said, what happened is exactly what we were afraid of. That they were going to just harass some, you know, and racially profile some black youths, and something like this would happen.
Well, the Supreme Court thinks that burning the flag is perfectly acceptable form of free speech, so I'm sorry you disagree.
To have GCI patrol, and those guys, they sit around on their fat asses in their car and wait for black youth, and if there's 2 black men walking down the street, they harass them. I see it all the time. It is a reality. So, you know, when we talk about, well, how can we change it? One thing is we need to think about this whole idea of these private security firms that, you know, and they're cops and they're not cops, and, you know, and then that they can get away with murder and other abuses.
And film them. And film them! Shit. Let them know that they just not getting away with that shit.
Hi, I'm Ravi, like ravioli, if that helps you remember. Kind of nervous up here, there's a lot of people, but what I think, and he spoke to what the media covers, right? We see things like the ice bucket challenge, we see Tebowing, we see all that kind of stuff. These protests are going to get on the news for about 2-3 days.
Yeah.
We need to find a way to keep changing the way we approach the situation.
Diversity of tactics.
This is a great way to spread information, but now we have a group of, I don't know, 200, 300, 400 people. We can find ways right now that we can change the way we approach this. We did this with the helicopter right here. Don't shoot, right?
And then it left.
Why do we need to be in groups to do this? We need to take this on an individual level, right? We can come up with something with T-Bone. We have 300, 400 people. Most people are familiar with social media. We need to get on there. Protests are only going to cut it for a week max. I mean, this could be stupid. You can call me out on it. That's fine. But every time you see a police officer, whether you're by yourself, with your friends, just that's it. That's it. That's going to send a message. And protests are, I'm telling you, I'm here right now. This is only going to last for a few weeks. We can come up with reasons and ways right now to mobilize this further. And we can, you know, we can come up with an ice bucket challenge, something like that. Another thing is, if you are involved in this kind of movement, you can't half-ass it. Like, you can't be a fair weather justice fan. The weakest part of any protest or something like that is somebody who jumps on the bandwagon is not informed. We all need to do our part. If you really believe in this, you have to get your information. And when people question you, you can't just say, "Oh, well, I didn't know that." You have to figure out a way to find that out, and you have to educate the person who is asking you, or else this movement will lose momentum.
Thank you. That was great. That was awesome. Right now. Sorry.
I want to add something that you said. You said that a challenge should be made, like the ice bucket challenge. I'm gonna show you how much we don't communicate, or they don't let us communicate. When this happened a while back, I made something called the Innocent Blood Challenge, where I took a bucket of red Kool-Aid and the simulated blood, and I poured it over my head for all the innocent lives we done lost over the years of the youth and anybody. You know, you can go on my Facebook page right now and see it. My name is H.J. Rogers on Facebook. Go see it. Because there's something that people need to see. The stuff that they don't want to see. They don't want to see the truth because the truth hurt. But when you face the truth, you can grow. And that's just real.
You want to let somebody over there got it?
Hello, can y'all hear me? Now can you hear me? Okay, I want to address the question earlier. Someone asked, what can we do as college students? So, back thought, just so everyone here is clear, it is never the minority's responsibility to educate the privileged majority. So to all of you white people here, it is not any black person or any person of color's responsibility to educate you about their experiences or their lives. And if they want to, you know, that's awesome, but that's not, they don't owe us anything.
Yeah.
So to get back to the original question,
what can you do as a college student?
My brain hurts. So I know it's midterms, right? But one thing that we can all do is have conversations. And these tents right here, and the people that are out here with us all right now, we've been out here for a little over 22 hours. And I really love that this many people are out here right now, but I also know that a lot of people walked right past this tent and didn't say a single thing to anyone and have actively avoided making eye contact with us.
I've heard people say, let's go the other way. I don't want to deal with this bullshit.
Between your classes tomorrow, you can stop by this tent and have a conversation. You can talk to people of color, you can talk to your white peers. We're here. Part of the reason that we're here is to have these conversations. We've been having them all day. So continue that. Stop and say hello. Like, we're just normal people. We're here to talk. So really easy, 5 minutes, come say hi.
Like, as a college student, I just feel like
She coming with the mic.
I just feel like as a college student, I understand we do need to talk about it, but I feel like we need to have more action. Maybe write up a plan to go to like Ferguson Department, a police department, or something like that. Like, I feel like being right here, we're kind of like the community can't see us on those streets. The community can't see us. Like, I understand this is great. I love to see us like all together in solidarity, but I feel like we need to be more a part of the St. Louis community, include everybody, and get out here. Like, we need to go to departments and let the administration know this is serious. We want change. Like, I don't know.
For those of you that are standing, there are some open seats now in the bleachers if you guys are tired of standing.
And to add on to what you said, right? When we first started this, the ones of us who've been out here since the beginning, when it first started 66 days ago, you only had the number when people thought they was going to steal or destruct something. So after people saying that wasn't going to happen and the camera started going away, you know, the people who was really out here trying to make something better out the situation, we was like, we losing numbers. So we didn't know how to get numbers. We didn't know what to do to get numbers. So we was outside every day protesting, maybe sleeping out there. But then, I'm sorry. But then after that, right, after we went through a long time of figuring out how not to get numbers, we figured out the best way to get numbers is to get the people aware of what's going on. You know, like, how can you support something that you don't even understand? And like, that's how the system is built for real. A lot of people support the system, but they don't really understand how the system works or who it's made for. Because the same system you support may not support you. And it might just seem like that. So, you know, like, that's just really what it is.
Yeah, but once you put the uniform on, you're not human, because if there are babies in a crowd, you will still shoot pepper bombs and tear gas into it. So don't tell me that all police are human.
My name is Eric. I'm a senior here. And I want to, yeah, how's this? I want to first say I served alongside with, you know, white and black and brown and Asian and Latinos in the military for 6 years. 6 years. I had friends die, and I want to know that we serve so that you could protest today. But I also want to say that a lot of police officers had served for your right to protest.
But then they come shoot us when we do it. Right. Then they come shoot us when we do it.
In the schools, and I've been afraid to speak up because the issue with Darren Wilson is that the protests have been out of control from day one. That's what I see, and there hasn't been.
That's a lie.
There has not been a dialogue between people who support Darren Wilson and people who support Michael Brown.
Because they call us monkeys.
There hasn't been a connection. I do support Darren Wilson, and I'm proud to have supported Darren Wilson. And it's not right. It's not right for us to think that we are the judge, jury, and executioner of any man's life.
Where y'all want to go? Where y'all want to go?
Wait, hold on. You're not done yet. Hold on.
Period. I have a question.
I say we should let it play out and see what happens, and I think we should let things be peaceful.
Can you offer a few words of why you support Darren Wilson?
We're gonna take
so people can have a discussion about it.
We're gonna take some response.
Words about why I support Darren Wilson?
Right.
No. You know what?
No, it's just
I don't think I'm a dissenting opinion from the majority of this conversation.
This is open dialogue. He should be allowed to give. This is open dialogue. He should be allowed to give his opinion so he can speak.
Hey, y'all, bring the noise down, please.
You can't expect to just be heard and not willing to listen to what you don't want to hear. He entitled to his opinion. Go ahead.
First of all, I'm going to take 30 seconds. I'm talking about my life. I went to the most diverse high school in the nation.
What?
We had Michelle Obama come and speak at our school, and that was nice. I served in the military. I also served the government at the Social Security Administration. I worked in the Civil Rights and Equal Opportunity Division of the Social Security Administration. I've helped. But I would be lying to you if I said
that I wasn't afraid if I walked down the street of Ferguson for being a white man. I would be lying to you if my cousin didn't have his shoes stolen by a black man who intimidated him and threatened him. When I saw the report, and I've seen it all, I've been following it from day one, not on mainstream media, but with the I Am Mike Brown movement and Mustafa, I think his name is. I don't know if he's here. But when I saw the report come out, and his eye socket had been broken, and a report of the gun going off within the car, I saw the facts. And being a trained analyst for the Army, I saw facts add up. But there is still a gray area. There's a gray area because we don't know exactly what happened to him when he got out of the car, or exactly how he was shot. We're going on hearsay. And if we look at the court system, we know how well that holds up in court. It's the least valid testimony.
What the fuck is he?
Now, instead of being judge, jury, and executioner, saying, kill Darren Wilson or, send him to jail, I think we should wait and see what happens in the courts.
Like we have a choice.
Wait a minute.
But like we have a choice.
Remember, it takes a lot of time and courage to stand up here. So regardless of whether or not how you feel, make sure your response is respectful.
I'm gonna let some people respond to that, but I got a question for him real quick. So if Darren Wilson would have shot your mother like 6 or multiple times, and maybe they were left in the street for hours, or if you have a brother, would you still say, oh yeah, Darren Wilson, let's let the criminal system do that? How would you handle that?
I'd be very upset and very emotional, number one. Number two, I would like to find out exactly why and how that happened.
Jesus Christ.
And I think we don't have all the facts. We haven't seen the whole process, the justice system. And I know we were talking about the justice system a little earlier. We haven't seen that play out.
So if you were waiting on her, she shot dead, and you're waiting on the facts to come, but as they come, the story continuously changes. Are you still trying to believe those facts? And I'm telling you, the story continuously changed. He did this, he did that. Oh no, this didn't happen, that didn't happen.
How did it change?
Oh my God.
The shoes. He robbed the store at first.
The store called the police. The store never called the police. Police never got the call. You left his body laying in the hours for 4.5 hours. You did not put him in.
I understand.
I'm not trying to be aggressive or anything. I'm just saying. You left his body laying in the street for 4.5 hours. Police, the ambulance people say that they were out there, and the cops told them to turn away. If your son, if somebody came to you and said, hey, I got a picture on my phone, your son laying in the street dead, and then an hour later you go there and he's still in the street. But everybody crowding around him like he a piece of art. And he's dead. And nobody helped. The people that you paying taxes to protect and serve him
Bring
are not
dogs
helping
out.
him. And then months later, we still paying taxes for them to hide this man. We're hurt.
For him to get paid.
For him to get paid.
Paid leave.
Paid. I don't get paid leave. If I work at the hospital, if I get sick, I don't get paid for it. It's unexcused. Period. And they should be held accountable the way we are held accountable.
I'm not in any way validating what happened.
I just really, can I ask you
we can take some other responses.
I got a quick question. It's yes or no.
First and foremost, I want to say this, right? I got friends who serve the same country you serve, and they'll tell you that this is not a fair America, and they serve that same flag you serve. Now, as far on speaking in the justice system and how it works, well, get this, right? The average person will be indicted in on their way to get sentenced or trial within 39 days.
24 hours for real.
For real.
21 at the least. Now, mind you, we are going on 66 days, and it's still senseless killings going on. So can you justify that? Can you justify the fact that the chief of police for Ferguson got in front of the cameras and lied?
Didn't you just say we should not be judge, jury, and executioner? Well, how are you going to support the one that was?
But then they got
That's my
another
question.
videotape where you can
Please,
see
let
them
me ask
clearly
that.
paying
It's
for
quick,
cigar.
it's yes or
So
no.
what facts are you speaking on that which we don't know? Because I think it's just facts you don't know because you haven't really investigated the situation.
Been watching TV.
Man, he ain't even got the brain power for all of that. Like, I just got one question. For real, for real.
Bring the truth and not what you feel.
Well, first of all, I can't.
Okay, but you got...
Yeah, I just want to respond to, I also served in the military. I appreciate your service. It's a very hard job. It's not easy. We can relate to police.
Louder.
But I was saying I also served in the military for 5 years. I told him I appreciate his service. It is a very hard job. My brother was hurt in Iraq. My other brother served 20 years. His wife served 20 years. I come from a military family. With that said, we know that in every organization, there are people who do not need to be there and do things wrong and need to be held accountable for what they do. And based on the statements that you said, it's obvious that, you know, you probably should learn some more about the situation, because as a military veteran, there are things we're taught on how to engage people and how to react to certain situations. And I've never heard of shooting someone 6 times from 15 foot away as if they were endangering your life. So I'm really confused as to how, you know, those sequence of events came to his death. Now, with that said, this is still one example of so many problems that have taken place. Like the kid that was shot in Walmart for holding the BB gun. The family in Texas, the Hispanic family in Texas who had a no-knock raid come in their house. They were all assaulted by the police. They just won a $2.5 million contract against those dirty SWAT teams that hit the wrong house because they did not do any investigating prior to hitting the house. This is one of many situations in our country that we as military veterans and Americans should be extremely alarmed about, because it could be Christians who are next. It could be, there's no telling what the next target is that the police state will come after you with. There's no reason for local police departments to have military grade equipment just because we have extra.
So they can go to war with American citizens.
And as a soldier, you know, when you put that military uniform on and you ride out in that truck, you feel a type of way. You feel the energy inside you. You feel a brotherhood about you. And that can overcome you, and you can make mistakes because of it. And you have to be held accountable for those mistakes.
Wait a minute. Go ahead.
I
got a question.
What he has to say. Can't hear you, babe.
So do you have something to say?
Brave, though.
Right.
You gotta. You good? Don't be nervous.
We're not gonna attack you. We're not being violent.
I lost my.
Well, then let me ask my question. It's a quick question. I promise you that. Yes or no? I'm just want to know.
Syria. Can you give it Syria?
Oh, yeah, go get you. Okay.
I just have a question regarding something that you said, that we out here looking for justice are not allowed to be the judge, the jury, nor can we be the executioner in that. Why was Darren Wilson allowed to be the judge, the jury, and the executioner? Didn't get to see a judge, didn't see a jury, and Darren Wilson executed him without all of that stuff. Why is that okay, but we can't do that to Darren? Like, where does that come from? Make sense for me, please.
Yeah, well, wait. And with that, can you explain with that thought process how you support him, because he was judge, jury, and executioner? That was the rest of mine. And also, like, this entire thing has been derailed to educate you. I want to just say that this is a beautiful thing, but we're going to educate you and take a break from all of that just was going on.
The way I see it, I think Darren felt his life was in danger.
How could you say that you wasn't
Did-
there?
I think from the reports that I've read and from.
I'm finished. I'm finished. You see what I'm saying?
All right, hold on.
See what I'm saying? This was a beautiful thing. See what I'm saying? Derailed, COINTELPRO, right
He
there.
felt that his
That's
life
the
was
type
in
of shit they
danger.
do.
I think from the reports that I have read, Michael Brown came up to Darren Wilson's car, punched him in the face.
Yes, because that's shit that random black people do every day.
And tried to get a hold of his gun.
Hi, I'm just gonna run over and punch you in the face.
know that.
Stop, Bill. I'm finna be a radical like you like
Michael Brown walked away.
What kind of shit is I'm just gonna punch you in the
This
face?
is how I understand it. And then charged at him. And because his eye had been
I'm so finished with this.
I don't think he was able to.
Is he drunk? Is he drunk? Go home, dude. You're drunk.
I think he thought his life was in danger.
Because he didn't. Well, then you don't need to be a fucking cop if you think your life is in danger from 15 feet away while you got bulletproof, everything in a gun. Oh, I'm done. Let me walk away. Excuse me. The fuck? I'm trained to shoot and kill. I got bulletproof everything in a gun, but I'm scared of one black man by himself with his hands in the fucking air. Let me walk the hell away. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all ain't gonna be able to watch right now because this type of ignorance, it don't even matter. It don't even matter because the beautiful fucking conversation that was just happening got completely fucking derailed because he drunk. I don't even know. I got to walk away because that was just too much stupid for me. You know, my mind can't handle stupid. Stupid fucks my mind up. That was dumb as fuck. Don't come tell me some dumb shit. That's all. I got to just walk away.
If he was anywhere else, if he was anywhere else, like say if he was in Ferguson and shit like that, people would beat the shit out of that dude. You're not gonna say
How dare you say I support your right?
Man, I'd rather watch Dahlia play with her ball.
How dare you say that shit?
Right, that doesn't make any sense.
Like, do you know who?
That just completely fucked me up. I ain't even gonna lie. I can't even finish that.
And they're gonna just let him talk.
He's trying to justify like what he did.
But I can't emotionally. I can't handle that. I can't handle that. That's why it ain't my job to educate you. We was having productive conversation. It's not my job to educate you. I already live this shit every day. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm related to motherfuckers. Michael Brown situation, same thing. I'm not gonna tell you this shit. The fuck you mean? We not allowed to be judge, jury, and executioner. What the fuck about man, show. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. You could be like, let the justice system ride it out. Understand this. We are fucking protesting to charge him with some shit that we know he did.
You ready, boo?
Period.
You ready, baby?
Like, what the fuck? If it's a justice system, then let the justice system handle it. Let him really go to court. Like, let's not even talk about the way that the fucking grand jury got put together and how shady as fuck that process was. Let's not talk about the very biased ass district. Let's not even talk about that shit. Man, he should get a stay of execution and get a change of venue and have to go to somewhere else that actually knows what it's like to have less racist policies. And I fucking am ashamed to even be saying that because I have like total no faith in electoral policies or the judicial system. But I got to think that there's somewhere where we would like in America where we would like condemn a police officer for shooting an armed black man. Is there not somewhere? Oh yeah, that's why we here. What the fuck? I'm like, in California, the police officer's Bill of Rights literally is held more dear to the fucking citizens of California than our Bill of Rights as citizens. Period. I'm telling you, if you don't know about Alan Blooper, go look that shit up. Police officer shot the shit out of his ass. He ain't had no gun, no weed, no nothing. Then shot himself in the fucking foot and said Alan had a gun. The coroner's report determined that was a goddamn fucking lie. He had no gunshot residue, no nothing on him. He had a police bullet in his ass, laid in the ground just like Mike Brown for hella fucking hours. Then the police department, they did worse than with Darren. They just hired his ass back and put him right back on the Oakland protest line so he could be monitoring his mama. I can't even deal with that type of shit. Man, I'm about to go back over there in a second, but I needed a second. I need a second. That was fucking stupid as shit. My mind can't handle that.
You good now?
That's why I'm like, let me walk away. Let me not be the next distraction to the shit that was hella beautiful and happening, because your ass just come derailed every fucking thing.
Yeah, because the rest of us need you.
Oh, that just worked my nerve. I tried, y'all. Y'all can't see me, but I was sitting there. Literally, my hand was over my mouth. I was just hella trying not to say nothing. Oh, God, that's that dumbass shit that we talking about right here. The productive conversation we was having before he picked up the fucking thing. That's that shit we was talking about right there. White privilege, fucking denial, living in your bubble,
Anti-democratic.
Anti-everything. Like, shit, you're not even human. That was some dumb shit you just said. We can't be judge, jury, and executioner. What in the fuck is you think the Second Amendment is for? When y'all get the fucking up, yes, we can. What? Stop. Stop. Shit.
He wouldn't cry when his mama fell in the street. He'd wait till the facts.
Ain't that a bitch? Just let y'all shoot my son. I'm gonna tell you right. I know the police watching my stream. Let me tell you right now. Shoot my motherfucking baby. Everybody else can go protest. I'm fucking y'all up on my way out.
Ready to go back?
Yeah. I'm ready to go back. Okay, y'all. I had my rant. Thank you. I had my rant. Get my shit together. Go back over here. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I was human for like 5 minutes. I had like a human moment. Yeah. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Harrison. I'm a junior here at SLU. And I just wanted to point out there's two things. I'm going to say this quote. There's something I really wanted to point out that has been slightly irking me about using, like, I have this colored friend, because if anyone here is a minority, I'm sure you've heard it a lot. But first, something from MLK. And this is going to be for the people who do not support the demonstration, so I know that a lot of you, this is going to fall on like ears. They're like, oh yeah, I already know this. But this is for those really who are not here and you can use it in the future. You deplore the demonstrations taking place in Birmingham, but your statement, I am sorry to say, fails to express a similar concern for the conditions that are brought about the demonstrations. I am sure that none of you would want to rest content with a superficial kind of social analysis that deals merely with effects and does not grapple with underlying causes. It is unfortunate that demonstrations are taking place in Birmingham, but it is even more unfortunate that the city's white power structure left Negro community with no other alternative. That was by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We stand here today, and I know some people are saying we should not make this a black and white thing. Well, the thing is, we don't live in a colorless society. Sometimes we talk about like, hey, we should not. No, I do not believe we should be using you people, and I do believe that we are all human, but please do not go around saying that we are colorblind. When I recognize myself as an African-American woman, not because that I was born, I'm like, oh, that's what I am. That's what society told me I was.
Right.
That's not true.
Right.
If any of you all go around, and even this is for my females, how did you know you were female? You're going to be treated as such. I also have privileges too. We're not going around and saying, all I've heard today is black people complain all the time. We recognize our privilege too. We are working on it. I am an African-American female, but I am light-skinned. I enjoy a lot of royalties that some of my other sisters who are darker than me will not ever be able to have. I straighten my hair so I can blend in society. I do not work in Afro, which is my natural hair texture. I am able. I can walk. I have that privilege. I am here at St. Louis University. I have the privilege of an education. There are things that we all recognize. So please don't go around thinking that African Americans that we don't recognize, that we do have some privileges here as well, and other aspects, as like being able, being in a SLU community such as this, being in a university. But in times like this, we bring up race because this has such a strong factor. To the man who was talking about, like, oh, I had black friends and Hispanic friends in the Army. Like, yeah, it's nice to have a diverse group of friends. Dang, it really does help for sure. But please don't use us to, like, that you now know our experience. You do not. This is not something that we are just complaining about. You just need to listen to minorities' view. That's what's been the most frustrating thing about it all. We've been trying to break down every single one of these situations. Well, what did he do here? What was his history? What was his criminal history? Well, you think this is just one case? That's when they were saying this is the straw that broke the camel's back? Mm-hmm. This has been going on for years. My brother was pulled over in my neighborhood, which we live in the suburbs, and he got the dogs called on him. Why did he get the dogs called on him? They asked him that. We're like, well, you were just suspicious.
No, you were black.
Why did he have to
Black
stop talking?
suspicious, right.
Black suspicious. Car. You know, you guys, this isn't something that we'll just. This is something that we go through on an everyday basis.
And I'm from Oakland. Why can't I joke with them about this? Like, the ghetto is the same everywhere. Don't get it twisted.
Because we are tired. But we know that we're going to have to continue the rest of our lives doing this. And I hope one day we will not, but I'm sure that's not going to be the case. Because even if we don't have to deal with racism, which I'm sure that's not going to happen, there's always going to be an oppressed group.
Yeah.
As a Christian, I am very privileged. For those of you here who are not Christian, I'm sure you guys have not felt the most welcome, not only on this campus, but even in the United States in general. The LGBTQ community, come on, Colin's telling me that you can still legally fire someone for being gay. I mean, there's so many complications in our society, and so that's why I'm like, yes, we are together as humans.
Yeah, but the white gay person might not lose their job, though.
Just because of the identities that our society has told us that we have.
They might get a demotion where the black gay person just got to go. Right, right.
Sorry, just a second. Okay. All right, can you hear me? Okay, so I have a quick story to tell you and then the point I'm going to make. So, mi primo, Ricardo, he is the chef at Diablitos, a wonderful guy, and he, last year, he was driving in Kirkwood and it was Christmas Eve, and he had his daughter in the car with him, and he got stopped because he had one of his taillights out, and the police officer arrested him and put him in jail. Not only was Christmas Eve his birthday, but his daughter had to watch that. And he spent all of Christmas in jail. I myself am not Latina, but they are mi familia, and I love them to death, and I wanted to do something and I did not know what to do. But I think one of the things we need to do is start thinking of, yes, we all have different experiences, but us as a country, as a culture, as a community, we are all family. And there are bad things happening to our family members. What do you do when bad things are happening to your family members? You help. You are there for them. And one of the reasons why that is not happening is because we don't have the empathy. We don't understand. We don't talk to them one-on-one. And the way to share these ideas is, yes, have these big demonstrations and be able to get mass information out there. But we need to talk one-on-one. You can't really understand where someone is coming from unless you have a long conversation with them, unless you really, really do get to know them and talk to them and have that empathy and put a face to an idea.
I'm not saying that LGBTQ people don't lose their jobs. What I'm saying is it doesn't matter whatever you classify yourself as. If you put black in front of that, it's worse.
The university system is part of the system, and one way that you guys need to learn how to fight back is you need to learn how to stop intellectualizing everything. And if someone comes to you and is trying to talk to you, you need to learn how to listen, even if they're not presenting it as a well thought out argument with concepts and blah, 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 blah. The university system is part of the oppression. You guys are graduating with the highest student debt in the history of this country. That means after you graduate, you're going to have to get a job where you can pay off your student debts, and now you're stuck behind a desk, being trained on how to be passive, sitting still for 8 hours a day. Start your own businesses and talk to your neighbors.
Bam. Fuck the system. She with the shit.
All right, my name is Matt Glasso. I'm a senior here, and I'm just gonna go out and say I'm a Catholic, and these first couple words I say, you know, you can take it with a grain of salt if you don't believe in the Catholic faith or not. But I do know that one of the 10 commandments is thou shalt not kill. As a Catholic, I have to believe in that, and when something goes against that, I can't agree with that by my faith. Now, I also believe in a God that sent his son, Jesus, and that son walked amongst everybody. It didn't matter their social class, it didn't matter what they looked like, it didn't matter if they had a disease. He still walked with them, considered them a brother and or sister. that applies to this situation. Now, you may not be Catholic, you may not follow these ideologies, but you're still a human who should believe in morality. The morality of life, the dignity of life, and keep in mind that Mike Brown had one of the cornerstones of this country, one of the rights, the right to life, freedom, and the pursuit of happiness. He had all of that taken from him when he was gunned down for no reason. So when you want to talk about rights, what is Michael Brown's right?
Thank you.
My name is Dave. I'm a senior.
Louder, Dave.
Louder.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Not really.
No?
Put it closer to your mouth. Closer to your mouth. Yell.
Hi.
Yeah.
All right, I'm Dave. I'm a senior here. I just wanted to share a little encouragement with you guys from a religious standpoint. So, you guys are not into religion or you're atheists, that's fine. You can tune me out. It's not for me to judge or anything. I can try to influence you, but I'm not going to push anything. I've always been, trying to look for an opportunity to spread encouragement and the word, but I've always been kind of too passive and never really gone out of my comfort zone. So I feel like this is a good time to do this now. So I just want to share with you something my girlfriend and I were talking about today in conversation. My girlfriend is black and we are an interracial couple. So it's been a little difficult because there's a different perspective on what's going on. And my girlfriend's very taken aback and she's almost scared to a point. And for me being white, it's a little different because it doesn't strike home as much unless something is personally taken from me. So she was very concerned as to why there's so much violence and everything going on. And we thought about it and we talked about it and it came to me and I thought, if there were no violence and there were no, negative things going on and everything is perfect, what we would have no need to look to any higher purpose. We would have no need to look towards God for any help or any guidance. So I just feel like, to an extent, bad things can happen around us, but maybe look forward to it positively and look forward as God trying to get your attention. He's trying to speak to you through certain events. He's trying to, say, hey, we have a purpose. We can do something. Don't be too afraid to go out of your comfort zone. Don't be afraid to try something new. The Bible says, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So I just want to leave that with you guys. There's been some negative things. I just want to leave positive things. Thank you.
So, for everybody who's over here, I just want to redirect the attention and remind everybody that the point of this is to have dialogue. And so I know that there's a lot of issues that people are having.
Please tell people when they're done with the Walmart actions to come down to Occupy SLU. Please also, if you can, bring tents, bring water, bring hot coffee, bring chocolate, bring pizzas, bring whatever they might need for occupation. Come on, if you're a follower of mine, you're not a stranger to that.
Those people over there standing in the circle, not looking at me and talking and still not looking.
They got hand warmers at Walgreens.
Yeah, by the clock.
It would be great if we could have continued participation and involvement in the bigger participation.
What you talking about over there?
Y'all could have breakout groups.
Bring it to the crowd.
What they could do is break out into smaller groups and then come back and report on what they talked about. It seems like people are interested in breaking off and having side conversations.
Hello? I hope I don't scare anybody. I hope I haven't scared anybody all day here. My name is Ricardo Adams, and I have a master's degree in trouble. And it's no joking matter. I spent over 25 years of my life in jail. So for anybody to get up here and tell me anything about the justice system, I know how the justice system works, and it's unbelievable that there's nothing. Either say he's not guilty or anything, but the system does not work the way it's been working in this situation. Nobody, I can't tell you about, and I'm not gonna make judgment on anybody out here. I'm not here to make judgment and profile.
If that was the case, anybody that was Catholic, I would never even look at them. All the sex stuff that's been going on in my head. I don't make judgments on people for that. And please don't make judgments on me. I come all the way here from Rochester, New York. Not because I'm some revolutionary, get things excited. I come out here because I'm desperate. I'm desperate for something different to happen around here.
That's right.
All the same, we've been getting the same results from the same thing. Something different had to be done. And this is something different. Right here, parked out at this university. And does it guarantee any change? No, it doesn't. But I'm hopeful. I have a 6-year-old
They don't have a committee yet for the kitchen.
We can't. I have hope for them, man.
I'm working
desperate.
on it, y'all.
And we're having this dialogue because I'm hoping that you can just feel the desperation, at least consider why we're here. You know, I can't make you come over, but please, you know, please consider acknowledging that things ain't all okie dokie. Please consider that. And don't judge everybody. Now, there's probably no other person in here has a record like I do. But people come to that assumption. I'm not going to come to the assumption that we can't get through to you because I'd have been back getting some rest. I'm getting ready to get on the plane. I haven't gotten any sleep. Out of desperation. Please, man, consider the mighty effort these people have been doing, man, trying to get some different results. Because the results that we've been seeing, they haven't been working. The system hasn't been working. The people we have put in place haven't been working. And I'd like to say one more thing, man. I've always been held accountable for everything that I've done. And it's changed me being held accountable. That's what I'm looking for with the police department. I'm not totally against, I'm not thinking that we can exist on a non-police state, but in order for that institution to change, there has to be consequences for action. I bet if you do something stupid here at this university, you will be kicked up out of here. There's consequences. And for that is to maintain things the way they're supposed to be. The only way we can bring about change is start holding these police accountable that do wrong. And the other ones will get in line because you know what? They got families too. And they do not want to lose that job. They do not want to lose it. But if they're getting vacations, paid vacations and all that, it ain't gonna happen, man. And most of you guys are young. When you go searching for that iPhone 6 deal on the internet and all that, you do good research. Do good research about this case, and you will see the truth. You will see the truth. That's all I ask. I'm desperate. Please consider.
I'm about to try to find out. Hold on. Excuse me, y'all.
Complex term, and the system in itself of white supremacy is a very dimensional, complex system comprised of multiple systems and multiple forms of systemic oppression. So white supremacy isn't just about racism.
HJ, people on the stream want to know, are there any black-owned businesses that will deliver food here because they want to order, but they're trying to like...
Gender issues and stuff like that.
It is 11:53.
There's one.
Can you see who does deliver right about now and come and tell me so that, okay, thank you.
So why am I afraid? Because the society has told me I have to be. But we're changing that today. That's why we're all here, and that's why we're demonstrating, and that's why we're sitting in and learning together to break down those barriers that have been here. Because it's not just institutional, it's not just the legal system, it's us. It's the way we interact with each other and the way we love each other and fail so drastically to love each other. So please don't forget that that's why we're here, and that's why we're talking, because
It's not enough to just talk. We've got to make some change, and it's got to happen here on this level within our groups.
Because whoever asked, they said, are there any black-owned businesses? So I asked because I'm not from this area. Thank you, Mary. I didn't realize that was your husband that you were speaking about. I appreciate
I'm
you.
For those of you who know me, you know I have a lot of thoughts and a lot of feelings, but I consolidated all of it down to 3 sweet and short points. Maybe not so sweet, but short. The first one is that the nature of dialogue. Oh, okay. The first one, I just want to speak to the nature of dialogue and how it's intending to use critical thinking and the power of personal narrative to create a shared meaning around the experience that we have here. While the questions have been good and focused, very directed, I don't think we're asking hard enough questions, which moves me into my next 2 points. A lot of people have called for an explanation. If you're going to ask for an explanation, I have to ask you, what do 400 plus years of oppression and marginalization look like? And who gets to decide what that looks like? Because if you're going to start commenting on what you think that should look like, you better have a damn good reason and a damn good explanation to back up what you're saying is appropriate and what's inappropriate. Thank you. And my third and final point was that a lot of others called for an action. I think I was called a radical today in my class, I'm not sure. But in that, my explanation backing that up was, I don't trust the media. For that reason, I do not even have a television in my apartment. I come out here and I get information from people who have witnessed, from people who have walked the streets and done their part, because that's what's important. So if that makes me extreme, so be it. But you've got your nature of dialogue, you've got your explanation, you've got your action, hopefully right there in that little spiel. Thank you.
Hey, excuse me. Excuse me. I live stream all the protests. So there you go.
Okay, so we're just going to have someone speak about a personal experience that they had.
You got to email me, my PayPal email, bellaacomedia@me.com. That's the only way that I can receive donations, Parities, yeah.
Hello, my name is Catherine Stout. I'm telling you my name because I want you to look up my case because it's before the courts right now. I'm one of you. I'm a Billiken. I'm a graduate student working on my PhD in American. But none of that mattered when the Mississippi Highway Patrol pulled me over. I had worked for 6 years as a newspaper reporter. I'm also a trained oral historian with the Smithsonian. I have my papers. I'm documented. I know what I'm doing. When the Mississippi Highway Patrol pulled me over, they asked me where I was going, what I was doing, while I was driving in that state. I explained my research, the research that I was working on for graduate school. I showed them my textbooks. I showed them the receipt of the hotel that I was staying in. I answered their questions repeatedly. And at some point after I had been stopped for about 20 minutes, I realized something funny is going on here. So I began recording because I'm a reporter and an oral historian. I have all of my equipment in the car at all times. I recorded the whole incident, including where they pulled me out of the car and searched my car on a hot August day for an hour on the side of the Mississippi I-55 interstate. They pulled apart the panels on the side of my car. They searched the spare tire in the back of the car. They put some chemical in my gas tank in the car to check to see if I had drugs stashed in the car. I have a 100% clean record. I have never been arrested for anything in my life. I'm here on a presidential fellowship. I had never been in any kind of trouble. I know how to talk to the police. I was raised by a quote-unquote good family, and I was a reporter for 6 years. I know how to talk to the authority. But none of that mattered on that day when they pulled me over. But I was always told by my parents, you can't fight the police on the side of the road. And so I kept that in my mind that day as I watched them search my car in the 100-degree Mississippi heat in August for an hour. I said, all right, we're going to record this. I'm going to file a complaint the next day. I went to the police department to file a complaint the next day. There was no paperwork on my stop. even though they stopped me for 90 minutes. The stop never existed to them. I was just another black woman stopped on the side of the road. Why was I stopped? Not because I was speeding, not on some traffic seatbelt law. I was stopped because my AKA tag around my car covered my county of residence. This is why they said they pulled me over. My AKA tag around my car covered my county of residence, which is not even a law. I want you to pay attention to license plate signs from here on out and see how many of them don't even include a county of residence.
Exactly.
This is not even a law on the Mississippi books. After I tried to file the complaint and realized there was no paperwork on this, so I couldn't fight them within the system, I got an attorney. My case has been before, the ACLU took my case. You can Google it. It's all over the internet. The ACLU of Mississippi took my case. It has been in court for 2 years now. 2 years I have been waiting for justice for a case for being stopped for a civil rights violation for no reason under the sun. I think you guys don't understand the level of frustration that people feel who have these experiences day after day after day, who have done nothing wrong. Violence is not just physical. Violence is also psychological. Violence is saying you don't have the right to drive in the state of Mississippi because who you
Who's
are.
a mod in the chat room? I'm sure you can see who has to
Psychological
go.
violence. Violence is a system that keeps your case in court for 2 years for no reason. That is psychological violence. So when people get up here and they're frustrated and they're angry, this is what they're angry about. Even you can fight them on the side of the road and get shot dead, or you can fight them in the courts and have to deal with a court case for 2 years. Michael Brown, back to who this is about today, deserved to be able to walk down the side of the street or in the middle of the road, I don't care where he was walking, and not get shot. I deserve the right to drive in the state of Mississippi and not get pulled over and have my car searched for an hour and a half like I'm some kind of big drug runner. I don't smoke any kind of drug in my life. I've never been arrested. Google the case. Google my record, please. But that's what this is about. We deserve the right to travel on the streets just like anybody else in this country and not have the police question us about where we're going, why we're there, and what right we have to be there. I have the right to be there whether I'm a citizen or not because somebody at some border control let me in this country. I'm an American citizen, but even if you're not, if somebody lets you in this country, you have the right to be on that street. And that's what this case is about. That's what Michael Brown's case is about. He had the right to walk down the middle of the street without being shot.
Thanks, y'all. So, hey, I'm going to shut down the stream real quick and come right back. It's been over 2 hours. I got to make sure I can save this. Just give me 1 second.
Spell her name. How do you spell your name?
CATHRYN